Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us 45 minutes late to our December 7th session. Up first, we have a donut drop event update. Melissa Fountain from the Maryland Theater.
You got donuts?
And Jessica.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having us. As you said, I'm Jessica Green. I'm the Executive Director of the Maryland Theater, and we are thrilled to be hosting a full season of holiday events this fall into November and December. So please, I encourage everyone to join us for something holiday of their choice. There's a variety to choose from, and we're glad to be having 100% capacity back in the building. It certainly feels good to see everyone. Yes. One of our favorite events is back this December 31st, New Year's Eve, the Krumpy's Donut Drop, and of course, we would not be able to do it without the support of the city, so thank you very much. And also, of course, our two largest partners, the Krumpy family, Krumpy's Donuts, and Middletown Valley Bank, and we have Matt South here this evening representing Middletown Valley with us. So without further ado, I'll turn it over to Melissa Fountain.
And what? We wouldn't be pitching the donut drop without some donuts.
Oh, we're so hungry.
We just want to invite
How are you
everyone
an hour
out.
ago?
New Year's Eve, we are back in full force. Our regular event on the square, we will be having free donuts to the first 5,000 people, free AC&T coffee, free hot chocolate, the kids zone, and then Mayor Keller will be joining us up on the stage for the final countdown and fireworks afterwards. So we hope everyone will join us. And just because you're in the audience doesn't mean that you don't get a donut.
Oh, awesome. Let me get Kristen's. I do. Thank you. I'm starving.
Are they done?
Looks like a t-shirt. Who needs one?
Would it be inappropriate to eat it now?
Any questions about our wonderful event?
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for the donuts.
Well, let's see, we just had a good year in 2019, so if we're rotating, we'll just keep our fingers crossed. Okay. All right, thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Right up next, we have the Invest Hagerstown Program update with Chris.
All right, so first and foremost, thank you, Krumpy's, for sweetening you guys up for me. So moving forward, I'm here to go ahead and provide an update on the Invest Hagerstown program, as well as seek guidance for how you'd like us to manage the remaining balance of the budget for the remainder of the fiscal year. Out of the $819,000 budget in Invest Hagerstown, $645,673 has been either dispersed or committed at this time, resulting in roughly $8.6 million in investment for the city, and estimated up to 69 jobs to be created within the next 2 years. These numbers are only anticipating 1/3 of the current Holly Building incentive plan, since that's over a 3-year period. In your packets, you're going to find the current funding levels, commitments, balances for the current fiscal year, as well as the estimated demand for the program that we have received so far of $912,000 total. At the time of this writing, we have also since then received additional anticipated demand in the form of both city center, citywide, and rental rehabilitation grant requests. As part of this update, we would also like to go ahead and seek direction on the ability to either reallocate existing funding from the line items, or the possibility for us to take the remaining balance within the program and reallocate that on a first come, first served basis, so we can serve the need as it develops. Any questions? Remaining, we have $173,328 remaining, primarily in the form of the homeownership grant.
I mean, I'd be happy to come back in March and ask, but I'm not interested in moving the homeownership amount, particularly, which is the bulk of it, so for me, I'm not interested in moving any of it at the moment. But I think you insinuate first come, first served, meaning first come, first served as it applies to falling within any of the categories.
Correct, so out of the $173,000, if we receive 10 homeownership grants, for example, the first come, first served on those versus citywide rental rehabilitation or facade grant, any of the programs as applications come forward.
How is it done otherwise if it isn't first come, first served?
So currently, everything's within the line item buckets.
Right.
So if the facade grant, for example, which only has 1,450 remaining, once that's depleted, it's depleted. Versus the homeownership grant, which has additional funds in that, which
Which means one entity could come in and ask under category one for the entirety of the 173,000 left, right?
depending on mayor and city council's basis. My recommendation would be to open it up for such as the rental rehabilitation, the facade, and the citywide, since as you said, the city center could wipe everything out with a single application.
Yeah, I'm fine with, five, adjusting on a first come, first served basis.
Including the homeownership grant as well?
Are you guys okay with
Yeah,
that?
I'm not.
What's the expected demand on the 22.5,
On the 22.5,
on the homeownership grant?
on the home ownership grant,
That's what you're expecting?
right, we are expecting 22,500, about 3 applications.
So you
For
got
the rest of
70
the fiscal
grand
year.
left there.
Right.
So what if we just, if that's the expected demand, we move some of it? We keep the 22.5 with maybe another, what, 7,000? And move the rest of it. That way we're,
I was thinking like the March timeframe in the spring when folks are looking to buy houses and this money will be gone. Right?
I mean, we've never spent it. Every year that we've.
No,
had
it's always-
homeownership
there's always an
grant, there's
excess.
Always money left over.
Yes,
we've
so
moved it.
To put things into consideration, last year alone, we only had 3 total homeownership grant applications for fiscal year 2021.
So I say we either move it or we do a big marketing push around it, because maybe people don't know it's available.
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
know.
the realtors know, I mean,
The
you know,
realtors do, the
right.
landlord association does as
Correct.
well. One of the,
Home store does.
home store does, yes. One of the largest impacts, which might require a rewrite of the guidelines, if you guys wanted to look down that as well, which has been discussed previously, is there is a 1-year vacancy requirement as part of the homeownership grant, where a building has to be vacant for a full year before it can be eligible for that
I'd be
redevelopment
interested in
grant.
relooking.
I'd be,
Oh,
I
absolutely.
mean, when we wrote that several years
Yeah.
ago, we had a different
Absolutely.
market and a different number of vacancies.
Yeah,
yeah, I don't think,
yeah.
yeah, I'm,
definitely want to look at that.
yeah, I'd amend that.
Okay. At this time, is there interest in moving any of the buckets around, for example, or just revisit everything at a later time, or how would you like us to move forward for the rest of the fiscal year?
Me personally, I'd like you to bring back the guidelines so we can remove the 1 year and then see if over the next 3 months there's an uptick in use of that funds. And then if there's not, no harm, no foul, we're at March and we say
Still
first
got
come,
4 months.
first served, yeah.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Yeah.
idea.
Fine with that.
Yep, me too.
Okay.
Thank
Well,
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I ask for clarification, when we bring back the guidelines, another part of the homeownership is built prior to 1960, so it's our older set of properties. Do you want us to bring forward a recommendation related to the age of the property in addition to the vacancy?
I do,
Okay,
yes.
thanks, just so we know how to come back.
We have to
Thank
make
you.
it a little
Thank
more
you.
accessible, lower the barrier
Yeah.
Hopefully more people out.
to entry.
All right, recreation year in review.
Ooh.
Yay, sounds nice.
We get more prizes?
something to add.
Do
we get more prizes?
We got a new
We will at the end. We have
Oh,
prizes.
I like pride, goody.
Yes, I did, thank you. So I'm joined. Hospitable. Oh, that is nice.
These are yours, I'll give
They're
them
not.
away.
Sorry. Good evening. I'm joined this evening with Kay Osmer. She's our new recreation assistant with Parks and Rec. You probably have met her, but in case you haven't, this is Kay. And Emily Conrad is joining us. Usually this time of year, we're here to pitch all the great programs that we have coming up for Parks and Rec, our fall and winter programming. You all got a copy of our guide. And this is usually the time that we come and pitch the Hub City 100 miler. But we thought we'd kind of take it up a notch this year, and we put together a video to showcase all that we have been able to accomplish in 2021, amidst being in the midst of challenges with COVID and not sure what we were able to plan and, you know, how the year went. So we wanted to kind of put together a year in review for recreation, and if you just want to sit back and watch the show, we thank you for having this opportunity to present this to you. You can eat your donut while you watch.
That's what I just said.
Our Recreation Department is proud to present our 2021 Year in Review. In 2021, as COVID-19 continued to challenge us as a community, our commitment to offering safe, innovative, and quality programming did not change. With careful and creative planning, we were able to continue offering popular annual events, as well as indoor, outdoor, virtual, and hybrid options for our recreation programs. Our programs provided an opportunity to get outside and be a part of the community again in a safe and fun way. Recreation Year 2021 kicked off in January with the 8th annual Hub City 100 miler. Over 1,400 people participated in this annual walking program. The goal of the 100 miler is to keep active in the winter months by walking, running, and moving your body 1 mile a day for 100 days. The 100 miler gives weekly motivation and fits everyone of all ages, fitness abilities, and interests. The 9th annual Hub City 100 miler begins January 14th, 2022, and registration is open now. We hope you will join us on this 100-day journey towards health and wellness in the new year. The Fit Room at Fairgrounds Park. This multi-use indoor space is the perfect fit for hosting private parties and recreation programs. Our recreation staff booked over 20 private rentals in 2021. The Fit Room is the home of our indoor programs that are enjoyed by hundreds throughout the year. Programs include a wide variety of interests, including aerial fitness, belly dance, CPR and first aid, fun with paint, yoga, square dancing, Zumba, and gymnastics. Our recreation programming grew virtually in 2021, offering fitness from home, featuring yoga, belly dancing, dance fitness, and strength training. Our outdoor programs continued in our beautiful parks, with popular programs like geocaching, the Hager House Outdoor Ghost Tours, Paranormal Train Ghost Tours, and skateboarding lessons. The Greens at Hamilton Run Golf Course. 2021 continued to be a busy year for the golf course. Play continues to be strong, and we anticipate over 20,000 nine-hole rounds will be played this calendar year. Highlights of 2021 at the Greens at Hamilton Run include 29 season pass members, daily specials, our clubhouse featuring food and merchandise, company-sponsored leagues, and a youth golf camp. Our course hosted 4 city tournaments held in 2021, including the annual Senior and City Championships, Par for Pink, and the Turkey Cup. The Greens at Hamilton Run will remain open all year round with winter golf rates. Open daily, weather pending, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., no tee times are required. 2022 season passes are now available. Potterfield Pool. In the summer of 2021, we started a new partnership with the YMCA to manage the daily operations of Potterfield Pool. With their outstanding management of the facility this summer, we welcomed over 22,000 patrons to the pool, including those who came for general admission swim, morning fitness swims, morning camps, swim lessons, swim team, and private pool parties. Outdoor classes this summer included aqua yoga and aqua zumba. Potterfield Pool offers a nice amenity to cool off during the hot summer. We look forward to our continued partnership in 2022 with the Hagerstown YMCA to enhance our facility and grow our programming to serve more families in the community. The 100th anniversary of City Park Lake. In August, we celebrated 100 years of City Park Lake. Although the rain put a damper on our musical plans for the 100th anniversary event, we were still able to launch the first ever fireworks on City Park Lake. In addition to the amazing fireworks display, the centennial was celebrated with creative recreational programming, including a 6-part video series on the history and evolution of building City Park, creation of an online portal for citizens to contribute historic family photos, the design and production of a City Park Lake swan ornament. This handcrafted glass-etched swan makes a perfect gift for anyone who loves City Park. Also makes a great gift for any holiday season and is on sale now. The Jonathan Hager House. Exciting things are happening at the Jonathan Hager House and Museum. In 2021, we welcomed nearly 2,200 visitors to the site, and with the help of a grant, installed a new Founders Trail. Visitors to the grounds will enjoy this newest addition to the Hager House and learn the history of the site as they walk along the path surrounding the home. The Founders Trail features 5 unique exhibits to explore anytime. Staff is also in the design phase of planning for a new visitor center. The new visitor center will bring history to life with new exhibits and interactive displays. Also, our staff has nearly completed a comprehensive artifact inventory of over 700 items. The City Park Train Hub. In 2021, at the City Park Train Hub, the re-grand opening of the site was held in June, giving visitors the opportunity to explore our improved museum site, which offers a unique look into Hagerstown's railroading history. The site has an expanded gift shop, a new educational video, new exhibits inside and outside to enhance the visitor's experience. Our large pavilion was host to numerous private parties in 2021. Tommy 202, our children's wagon ride, was operational for children to enjoy. We also received a grant from the Maryland Transit Authority to begin future restoration on the one-of-a-kind historic relic Engine 202. Nearly 2,700 people visited our site in 2021. Special events. In 2021, our Parks and Recreation Division executed over 25 special events of our own. Spring events included the new Easter egg drive-thru, the 100-miler finale, and the Earth and Arbor Day celebrations. This past summer, our community enjoyed 6 outdoor movies at City Park, 6 summer concerts in partnership with the Washington County Arts Council, and the annual 4th of July celebration at Fairgrounds Park. The fall kicked off with the Monarch Butterfly Parade and the City Park Fall Fest. At Fairgrounds Park, the annual Harvest Hoedown, our new Halloween drive-thru trick-or-treat, and the Dog Costume Parade welcomed thousands of event-goers to Fairgrounds Park. This winter, we are currently looking for donations to support our holiday ham giveaway and promoting the annual City Park tree lighting, which continues each evening from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. through January 2nd. A shout out to our awesome staff. None of our programs or facilities could operate without the help of great staff. Our recreation staff includes 2 full-time assistants and numerous part-time and seasonal staff working at our various facilities. From pool cashiers, golf clubhouse attendants, tour guides, and volunteer golf rangers, our staff excels at customer service, and we are proud of the work they do. We look forward to another outstanding year of indoor and outdoor programs and events in 2022. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Hagerstown Parks and Recreation to stay up to date on our latest programs, events, and activities.
You've been busy.
Awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, again, thanks for the opportunity and all your support for all of our events and programs. We did have a great year in 2021. We hope to have an equally great or even better year in 2022, so thank you. And quickly, too, I also included in the packet, we do have our holiday ham drive this weekend at Bethel Gardens, and we're still accepting ham donations. And the Hub
What
City,
time is that, Amy?
that's from noon to 2. Yep, and you can drop off a ham anytime this week or on Saturday or anytime thereafter, if that doesn't fit your schedule. And then the 100 Miler kicks off in January, so we'd love for you all to participate and help endorse that program as well. And we do have a gift before we go.
Yay.
So we'd love to offer you a City Park ornament for all your support this year.
Thank
So
you, thank you.
we'll-
Delegates, I'll pass them out one by one.
You can use it as an ornament or even as a pretty window catcher.
Yeah.
Pretty.
Does it show rainbows?
It does.
My granddaughter loves it.
There you go.
Very pretty.
There's no shortage of things to do.
The window downstairs, so you can see our Parks and Recreation window display down at City Hall.
Just kidding.
Thank you.
Thank you guys very much.
Yep.
Next, we have Program Open Space Annual Program.
Oh, Eric, you don't have a gift.
You better have something. I mean, I dare you to come here with that prize.
It really was a donut drop, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I will say, I took over Parks and Rec on July 1. Staff has been tremendous, and you can see they're very busy. They do a great job. I mean, I just say, hey, can you, and they just do it. And so I can't say enough about our staff, whether it's part-time, full-time, they're just doing a great job. So, Program Open Space. This is the annual program. I'm here just to ask for your approval on fiscal year '23. As you can see, in '23, we're looking at some playground equipment and picnic tables and benches, kind of the norm. And then finish the fairgrounds stable roof replacement. We're doing probably maybe a third of it this year, and probably do the other 2/3 next year if the funding comes through. And that's really the ones we would submit this year. That has to be submitted to Washington County by January 4th. And then we go through the whole process of those approvals and that sort of thing. And fiscal '24, and then you can see that year's 25, 26, 27. There's a whole host of other things. In '24, there's quite a few requests, some big dollar requests. We did put in there some money for the Hagerstown Field House. We just put a kind of a placeholder in there, just put it as indoor courts. So I'm here to ask your approval for next fiscal year '23, and then I'd bring a motion next week, for you to approve, and then we'd take that to Washington County.
Okay.
Good to me.
Good. Good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Hamilton Run Stream Restoration.
Hi, everyone. The MS4 program that we continue to try to meet all our objectives and the requirements of the state permit requires us to look for various projects around the community that we can do to improve the runoff of our stormwater. Stream restorations are a really effective, cost-effective way of doing that, so the proposal I have for you here tonight is the Hamilton Run section on Northern Avenue between the CSX Railroad and roughly the Terrace. What I'm asking you for is the Washington County Soil Conservation District is willing to partner with us on this project. And what they bring to the table is they can go after what they call a federal Section 319 grant for $450,000, plus their administrative skills of handling stream restoration grants that they've done outside the city. We would, our part of it would be we'd have to fund the match, and that's the big issue here tonight, is that part of that stream restoration, it's 1,800 lineal feet of stream restoration, but it's about a $1.2 million project. So if they bring $450,000 in grants, the city's stormwater fund would have to fund the balance of that. It is, for the amount of credits that we get for this project, which is 42 acres, which is about 1/10 of our overall requirements that we're facing, it's a pretty good per acre cost. It's a cost-effective cost for each acre that's treated. So it feels like it's a good project for us to move forward with. If we want to do the stream restoration, that's one thing, and then there's also two other things I wanted to ask you about. The first is the American Legion has approached us about replacing the culverts under their driveway. In the picture that's in your memo, this person that looks like they're having a lovely time is standing out in the middle of Northern Avenue. And the water
I seen
is,
it like that.
yeah, It doesn't happen a lot, but when it does happen, the reason is that the water is coming down, hitting the Legion culverts, which are degraded and undersized, and the water's pushed down into Northern Avenue. It flows down Northern Avenue and then goes back into the Hamilton Run down near Oak Hill. But Oak Hill, Northern Avenue is shut down when this happens. They've requested that we work with them to replace those culverts for them using our stormwater program. Normally, it's on private property, I would say probably is not something we would do, but because it so impacts our infrastructure, I believe it's something we should consider. The other issue is just east of the terrace, the second picture. If you're standing on the terrace looking, say, towards McDonald's or points to the east, there's this wall that is on private property, but it was probably built by the city. We don't know that for sure. When these culverts were built, the box culvert under the terrace and the box culvert under Northern Avenue, as you can see, that wall is deteriorating, it's in really poor condition and should be replaced too. And I guess the question there would be, do we want to take that on as part of the stream restoration project? So the main question is, do we want to partner with the Washington County Soil Conservation District? And do you have any feedback for me about if you want to include these other components in the project?
Isn't there also, right in this area, like a sewer manhole?
Yeah.
It's about
Sticks
4
up.
feet up?
Yeah, because it's a floodplain.
That needs some, when I was there, the lid on it definitely needs some attention.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Who even know that?
I don't know.
The lid
I
needs some
don't know.
It's about 4 feet up.
I
The
like to
lid needs
walk a
some
lot.
attention.
We need to make this city more walkable. Remember, somebody said that? And then she's like, why are you walking around? You told me to.
Today in executive session.
Or are you guys good with
Yeah.
Rodney's request,
But-
the first part of the request at least? And do you want to add the other two things?
Right. But this is an awesome little area, like
Yeah.
that people just don't
Know about.
Yeah, it's really cool.
It's hilarious.
So you should try going there sometime.
I'm gonna look for the man.
It's 4 feet up.
Yeah.
Lid needs some attention.
Good?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
That, yeah, that's.
All right, downtown stadium parking study.
All right, I guess Eric will load this. Thank you, Eric, wherever you are. So we completed the study. We worked with KCI, who's one of our traffic engineers, and I think it's important that we walk through kind of our process so that everybody understands it and make sure that you all agree with it. And we have a specific recommendation on the size of the proposed deck. So this is obviously related to the new downtown events and sports center. And that's what's driving the major need of this, but there's other needs as well. So we looked at a study area, what we assumed is a half-mile walking shed, as they call it, a walking distance around the stadium site. And we felt like that was a reasonable amount of distance that people, the maximum distance that people could reasonably walk. And that's where we collected our data and did the study. So we looked at the existing parking supply, how many public parking spaces are out there. We looked at our rich study that was done back in 2012. Some of us may remember that. We actually went out and counted cars and looked at the parking occupancy. We found out from the Stadium Authority that the capacity of the stadium is 5,000 with 3,000 fixed seats per their study. And we are making an assumption here that the peak parking demand is going to occur when these evening events and games are happening at the stadium. So with that data collection that we needed to do, first off, we determined how many public parking places are available in that half-mile area, radius from the stadium. So there was 1,701 public parking spaces. That's in our 2 parking decks, that is on-street, and that's in the public parking, surface parking lots, for a total of 1,701. Also, south of the stadium site, there's another 175 or more spaces on like Sycamore Street where like no one ever parks, Walnut Street where no one ever parks, and then there's also spaces in and around City Park That's not all the spaces in City Park even close, it's just a handful that we added to the 175 that are at the north end of City Park that would be reasonable walking distance over to the stadium. So we tried to look at everything that's available.
And that are cultural trail accessible.
Yeah, and then the cultural trail would be the obvious funnel in both directions to take you to the stadium site. So we literally went out and counted cars in all these locations to see what the occupancy is. So we looked at weekdays from 2 to 5, and then the evenings 5 to 7, and then on the weekends from 3 to 6, and then 6 to 8 in the evenings. And the percentages of occupancy that we found are on there. And that allowed us to figure out how many parking spaces were used. Out of all those that were available, how many are used? So the parking that was available then is the red line. So 954 in the afternoons on the weekdays, 1,238 in the evenings, weekdays, over 1,300 on the weekends. So what we looked at that is we said, okay, the public parking supply that's available, we're going to use 1,200 spaces. That's out there right now that's not being parked in. Slightly conservative, we think, but that's what we're going to use further on here in the study, 1,200. So then how many people are going to need parking spaces with the stadium? So there's manuals that we use to predict parking rates, and for stadiums, it's 2.5 people per vehicle is the most common assumption. So you could say, well, the 5,000 people that are going to be at the stadium, 100% attendance, that yields 1,900 spaces. But, you know, do you build the church for Christmas and Easter, or do you build it for every Sunday? And the average attendance for Atlantic League games that we found on the internet was around 65%. So we feel like a conservative number that we maybe would consider is 80% occupancy on an average game. And that just translates down to 1,520 parking spaces required if there's 80% attendance and 2.5 people per vehicle, and 95% of the people drive, 5% of the people walk there. So here's those two scenarios side by side. On the left is the 100%, on the right is the 80%. On the right, though, is what I'm focusing on. The stadium parking needs is 1,520, if we use that 80% number. The available spaces, remember, was 1,200. That means additional spaces needed is around 320. That'd be 320 needed for the stadium, plus whatever you take away wherever you build the deck, that parking that might already be there, plus any private development that might be brewing that might also need parking in that area. So we've tried to do some work on the private sector end. And Greg is here tonight along with Paul. We also talked to Bowman Development. These guys are all major players in our downtown to try to get some feedback from them about what they foresee as demands from the private sector, non-stadium. And Greg gave us some information on some of the developments that they have going on there. Approximately 100 spaces that they would need, 40 of them of which would be needed in the evenings, which would occur, you know, when most of the events at the stadium are going on. Rob gave us some good information as well. Of course, they're interested in seeing us expand the A&E deck as well, would be one of their main comments. So, and we also know that the district court's going to expand. They're going to start on that next year. That's going to eliminate 20 parking spaces on their site that's there now, so those people have to park somewhere.
Did you count those?
We did. So how do we size the deck? It would be, if you assume the peak time is during an event at the stadium, it'd be the stadium demand plus the spaces you would take away from wherever you build the parking deck, plus whatever private development demand there's going to be, which is pretty hard to quantify, minus any private space use. So if there's churches, just private parking lots that people would park in that would be allowed to park there, or they'll sell parking. It's really hard to quantify that, but that would take away from the amount that we have to provide. All that said, it looks like around 400 spaces is about the sweet spot for where we want to be. A 400 space deck is about $9 million, plus the land acquisition costs and the design. And if there is an event at the stadium, if we went that route and built 400, and we knew that there was a maxed out crowd of over 5,000 people, you know, a shuttling plan might have to be developed to pull people in from the outer reaches of the community, like the hospital parking and that kind of stuff. So where would we build the deck? And I'd like to get feedback from you on this. We have 3 locations that we've proposed. The first one is the Hager 5 parking lot on West Antietam Street. I have a drawing in my office from 1993, because I'm an old person, that shows a plan of downtown Hagerstown in 1993, the LDR plan. It shows a parking deck on the parking lot at the Hager 5 property. So for decades, that's where we've all assumed the next deck would go. Greg has mentioned to me, and you can ask his input on this, but also wrapping it around the Herald Mail building is a possibility across Antietam Street. Depending on how the stadium is built out, there is some potential land there that could be open, that could be a parking deck, but we really don't know exactly at this point until the stadium design actually commences how that's going to work out. And then the third option was the central lot, which could hold a parking deck, but it lacks the convenience of being able to park close to the facility itself. So I guess with all that, we're suggesting a deck around 400 spaces, depending on, you know, where the location is. And we'd like to have feedback on what you think about the location and what you think the next steps should be.
For comparison, can you tell council what the capacity for A&E and UD is?
Eric?
University deck is 440, 80 is 185.
So
it'd be
basically, we're talking
comparable
about
across the street.
building another deck like what we have across the street, roughly.
Well, I can only go back 20 couple years, but I know in 1997, we talked about a parking deck at that location on Antietam Street where Hager's Fire lot is now. And we talked about it periodically off and on since 1997. I'm a firm believer, regardless of a stadium project at all, and way before any stadium project was ever discussed, parking deck was discussed at this location on Antietam, East Antietam, or West Antietam Street. I believe that if you're going to redevelop Summit Avenue, especially the unit block of Jonathan, the first block of West Washington, the second block of West Washington, and anything on Antietam, you're gonna need a deck on West Antietam.
And that's what the Rich study in
Yeah,
2000.
I mean, without a doubt, you're gonna need it, so, and I believe that has the most bang for the buck. And I know Kristen and I know he agrees with that site location, but he has also talked before about behind the Washington County Admin Building. Possibly another one in the future.
Yeah, I definitely think Site 1 is the viable option.
My only concern with that site, and I know it's been a plan forever, and I'm sure that's the route we'll go, but, you know, when people come downtown to go to a game, they're gonna drive into a parking deck and walk directly across the street to the game and then go home, which defeats the purpose.
Some of them are, yeah.
The majority of them are. I mean, let's be honest, you don't drive to a concert park and then walk 5 blocks somewhere else.
Well, if you had,
That would come to you well.
if you had an event with 80% capacity, about a quarter of them would fit in there, and the other 3/4 would be spread out all over the downtown and south of the downtown.
I think, for me, it's the fact that we're not doing this for a stadium. Like, to me, I think the parking deck, and I said this some time ago, if we're gonna disrupt the market lot, which is likely happening, district court's gonna grow bigger, you know, circuit court, there's already that deficiency. So to me, I think the daytime deficiency in that area is exactly the reason that that lot garners a higher cost per hour than any other space in downtown.
Yeah.
And so by like 3 to 4 times. So I just think that it's already garnering that because the demand is already there at that location.
You mentioned the market lot. We'll say that we did not count the spaces in the market lot because we knew what was happening there with the transfer of that. The demand, the cars that were parked there, we counted in the demand, but we didn't count the spaces being available.
You know, and I think that there's probably some out there, and for me, the big question is, when you say 400 space deck, it's, you know, does it fit in all 3 of these places? So I know that there are going to be those, you know, involved in this process that say, well, why don't you do 650, you know what I mean? Why don't you do 700? Well,
Right.
you know, we only have so much funding
Right.
to do this, and so I think, getting back to Marty Brubaker's comments before, that you don't want to, you know, overdo it. But if I could do, you know, the A&E deck over, I would have definitely done, you know, somewhere 250 to 300 range, not what we have there.
I think this justifies the 400 space size. I think, I feel like I'm very comfortable now that that is what we should be looking for. Yes, you could always build it bigger, but that feels like that's about the sweet spot balancing between budget and the demand.
I am interested if that is the space ultimately selected. I believe you mentioned that there may be some necessity to provide spaces for the selling entity. And I think that has to be part of the conversation to understand what that means, you know, and what that means over a long period of time, and not, you know, because I think that's gonna play a role as it applies to, you know, the 9 million in public funding that we then gotta pay off.
Yeah. So if that's the site you want to go with, the next step, I think, would be for me to sit down with these gentlemen back here and negotiate some sort of a purchase agreement. And then I'd also like to get we have 2 architects on retainer that I'd like to just give them a proposal give us a proposal for the design, and we'll go with the best price there and get that started, because if this thing's gonna be open in 2023, we need to get rolling.
100%.
You guys go with that?
Yes.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
City Administrator.
Be wary of that guy, that elected official on there.
And don't try to interview.
Be a little wary of him.
Mayor, my only comment would be to thank the Parks and Recreation Department for a beautiful city park during the holidays. I think the changes that were made, the spreading out of the big ornaments all throughout the park, making it more of a drive-through experience is just fantastic. And the musical trees provide me a nice place to stop on the way home and watch for a little bit. It's fantastic, and anyone that hasn't seen them or that has seen them, go back again and again and again, because it's never gets old to watch, and it looks fantastic and stack up with any park in the country as far as a holiday display. So thank you for that. That's it for me.
Shelley?
I can't wait to take Bo over to the park to see the singing trees. That's what he calls them. So, yeah, he loves that. So I can't wait to do that.
Beautiful.
Nothing.
Kristen?
2 things. First is, I have seen the pictures of it. I have not seen it. We haven't driven by it holidays with the kids as they age, is sort of like jumping on a carousel while it's moving after you've had the 31 flavors at Baskin-Robbins, it seems like. And so we will get by to see it. My daughter will like that Ferris Bueller reference. And the second is, we had a good turnout the other evening for the field house discussion. There were probably 40 people here. It was interesting to see different organization representatives here from Frederick and Franklin County and West Virginia that sort of have an interest in what we're doing here, that use spaces elsewhere. For the most part, I thought it was a positive meeting. I did want to say that I know that there were some comments rendered afterward on social media, and I'll just say to those parties that the way to get to this table with this body is not by doing so loudly and negatively through those avenues. And so I look forward to a continued positive movement on this process.
Me too. I also had the field house written down. It was pretty awesome to see the positive response, not only in the room, but online. And to go along with the Christmas lighting, when you're there, make sure you park and get out and go through the light. There's a tunnel that you can walk through. It has 14,400 lights on it, I know, because Les told me. And it is really cool to walk through, so make sure you do that. And I just wanted to give a shout out to Girls on the Run, who had a successful first gingerbread run on Sunday morning. They started on our cultural trail. It was a 5K. Some man ran that in 18 minutes. My mind was absolutely blown. But Jason, our attorney, and his daughter also ran in it and placed really, really high. So congratulations to Girls on the Run on a good event. And the only other thing I wanted to say was our last meeting 2 weeks ago, at the end, I attempted to say, if you're struggling with substance use during the holidays, reach out. And I obviously got very emotional, and I'm only bringing that back up because I wanted to say thank you. My phone immediately started ringing, like with messages of people sending me purple hearts and saying, don't know what's going on, but hope you're okay. And I actually had 3 complete strangers reach out and send me a message just to say that they were sending me hugs. So often we get to see a lot of negative, but it was nice to see the human side of people. So thank you for everyone who cared. And with that, we're adjourned. Good night.
Hello and welcome to Council Wrap. I'm joined by Amy Riley now, and Amy, right off the top, I have to say, it's always been so easy for me to say Recreation Coordinator, and now your title's gotten a little bit longer, so I'm going to let you say what your title is now.
Well, it actually is Recreation Coordinator. When I was hired in 2013, it was Recreation Promotion and Services Coordinator.
Okay.
So we just kind of said, that's really long.
Okay, so you
it
did
is
truncate it. Okay, well, I was looking at what was on the agenda,
I
and I
noticed
guess
that
that was
too.
the original one.
Yes.
Okay, so I was like, she's added to it, and then when we watched the video, I was like, well, no wonder, because I know all of the hats that you wear and everything that you do in your department. Obviously, we get to work together a great deal along the way, but you always have so many balls in the air, and I think looking back on what transpired this past year, I think back to the year before that and all of those things that, all of us in the world had to adjust to, obviously. But can you talk about what it felt like this past year, getting some semblance of normalcy back?
Well, it felt fantastic, first of all. I always said in 2020, it was like trying to plan events with handcuffs on. So it was like the handcuffs came off, and we just kind of were able to breathe and be like, a program that makes it bigger than what you're seeing at the park. So including other organizations that can be a part of the kickoff. And again, I think about the comments that we got, like, why couldn't it be the event that it used to be, and outside? Well, in special events, you're always planning, 6 to 8 months ahead and thinking about the winter and kind of going off the previous year, are the numbers going to go back up? Are things going to shut down again? So I think we were just trying to be conservative and play it safe one more year.
Yeah.
Just because we weren't sure what the winter especially was going to look like, because even with flu season,
Right.
people get sick. So
Yeah.
we just played it safe. Like you said, there was opportunities that we grew the virtual side. People still came out that evening on foot to see us turn on the lights. I think, again, it was just the crowd that I think was supposed to be. And we are making that event more of a drive-through. So again, it makes us stay on top of things of how we can enhance what we're doing and make it better for the future and where the world is going, basically.
Yeah, and we're talking about a lot of those outdoor events, but something that we shouldn't forget is the fit room. And that's something, again, that was a little more of a challenge,
Yep.
a lot of virtual classes and things with that. But talk about that a little bit,
Yeah.
because I know you're promoting it a lot through your Facebook and your social media and everything that you do there. But sometimes I think that people forget about all of those classes and programs that are available. And they need to check back on things too, because if they look at the roster of classes and they're thinking, well, I don't really see anything right now. Hey, give it a few days and check back, because there's something new coming.
Exactly. So yeah, we are still offering a great amount of programs in the fit room. I mean, as I spoke earlier, we have Zumba, yoga, belly dance, aerial fitness, which is super popular. And a lot of our instructors are great. If they have some students that are a little bit iffy still about being in a classroom setting, we do offer them virtually too, or even hybrid. So sometimes you might come to a live class, or you might want to watch from home. So we're trying to be flexible. I think if I learned anything, which the world's learned anything, you just kind of have to be flexible and figure out how to do it, and figure out how to allow people to get healthy, get their fitness in. So we've been really lucky with the classes and things like that.
And speaking of which, we're coming to the end of one year, which means that the beginning of another year is right around the corner. People start thinking about those resolutions. Many times they have to do with their health, doing things to, make themselves more active. And of course, that's the perfect segue into the upcoming 100-miler.
Yep, which I can't believe is the 9th annual already.
It's gone by in the blink of an eye.
I know, it really has, and I'm thinking we got those Krumpy donuts tonight. So you think, okay, I'll eat this donut tonight, and then I'll walk my mile tomorrow, and So yes, we are coming up on the 9th annual program, and it's just amazing that continues to be a popular program for us. But I think, again, there's this sense of people are looking for something to do in the new year, because we all know we're going to indulge over the next couple weeks.
I know I will.
And we got to have a plan.
That's right.
So I think this program makes it easy for folks who aren't sure what to do. And it's, 1 mile a day for 100 days, and it appeals to all ages, all fitness levels. And it's a fun one.
Yeah, and the great thing is, I mean, you get some of your coworkers or friends or whatever, and, you know, the competitive juices might flow a little bit, and, you know, you can kind of push, and you figure out, I think for most people, that they probably figure out that, you know, that 1 mile a day really isn't much of a burden, and they want to go above and beyond.
Exactly.
And the great thing is, once you get into that routine over the course of a few months, it's very easy to carry it on from there, because once you come out the other side, we're really to the point where spring weather is upon us and you can be back outside again.
Exactly. And what was really cool, Wes, at the City Park lighting, I ran into one of our 100-milers from last year, and they're like, when are you opening it up again? So it just like touched my heart. When stuff like that happens, it makes my job like, wow, like I'm so happy that folks really enjoy the programs that we do, and they're excited for the program to start. So we've built a community really with our 100-milers, which is great.
Yeah, it really is. And, you know, again, I mean, just like Eric Dykey said, as he's now overseeing Parks and Rec as of a few months ago, you know, just a tremendous job that you and your team do, and always look forward to everything that you put out through social media and the new things that you come up with. And that's where I want to sort of end up here.
Yeah.
You know, point people in the right direction where they can, you know, follow along with what you have coming up, what's new, what's going on. All of that stuff is always right there. I mean, they just need to go to the right place. So where would that be?
So the best place is our Facebook page, because obviously with Facebook, it can be updated daily. So Hagerstown Parks and Recreation is our Facebook page, and Instagram, because they kind of work one in one. Also our city's website, you know, hagerstownmd.org, and then under Parks and Recreation, we list all of our programs and events, upcoming opportunities to get involved. What we're looking for too is, like, we have fun adding a lot of new programs every year, but we're also looking for folks to bring ideas to us.
Right.
And we're looking for instructors to teach new programs. So if you have a program out there that you want to teach, or a new event idea or new program that you, for the parks, please, you know, send us an email, or just, send us a message on Facebook.
Yep. Well, Amy, appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And have a happy holiday.
You too.
Yeah.
And I hope you're signed up for the 100-miler.
I will
which
be
I know
signed
you.
up. I will be signed up. Don't worry.
Okay.
Because I am planning on overindulging
Me
in
too.
food over the holidays. So
Me too.
again, always good to talk to you.
Me too.
That is a wrap for tonight. I will see you next time following the next work session with another council wrap here from the city of Hagerstown. Good night.
Good night.